Ono su to me so enti esese mu se mini afani omega echidi fuwe esese mu se mini afani omega sabika mu mutumi nyashi eni eja buwa mi eja oni mi buafo chenya mi eja yami mwami ni obiye mapura boimu wanso mi mwami ni obiye mapura boimu mi buafo eja buwa mi kwanchirafu na chenya mi cheme kwai utamechidia leiroko buwa mi kwanchirafu na chenya mi cheme kwai utamechidia leiroko uchemnya mieje
Ambacho yetunka pa kazo bebe video no washa si amai.
Video mudi hami friji maana mudi mbika vetina. But meet my start.
Ajo flow ni yodi antikosu.
Yo. Obusafo ye de nyame ase. Se Awurade aboye ho ban no ahwe so. Na otwi akwa apra betu ya asunduyem ne yete ase. Edoy mu dwumadi a edaye nemu no. Medical introduction no. Na opening kese na obaye presentation amai no. Abeto aso. Na se na ebe sha ase no di nyame din be sha ase. Nti ebe stress Eda Elijah sa wo so a ni sa wo so a di anim na fa ye hye nyame nsa e wo dwumadi a ye bedi ne nei se bibia wo ne ya na ansana introduction no aba.
Yo nyame ma mama ye mompai ayi bi boafu nyame ye da wase akwanya wo dia mayen ende anwumre se wo ma yemra mbetena wo nwi na se na yentie wo ho adesua na adesua so ebeboa e wo yasetena mu nso yemra na yemetie bi ninti ye fa sa akwanya etu ye ho nyina ahyew nsa na wankasa afisuru mu so abedi yenim kan e wo adesua yi mu efiti nne ekosi memenenda edesi wo ama asafo yi mu communication department program ahodo a ebekoso ofisa abria kosi homeda no edawani madeja yesra wose boy na adesua kunu a wonam mpanifo so ede breye no yensu yenya ye chefa ewo enwumre wako a obedi adesua nim mede no ehyew nsa ewom obekye nhunam enwuma de nenso wankasa ade se woka no ho na ne ahinta bia no watimi adanadi ede aboa yen nchirmai ma yenso etimi akonkan ewo ewiase mu abraba yetimi ye wogide se obekoso aka ye nyina ye ho ka oba bia akoma na ye nyina ye ntimi entuni in yenti adesuapa fambobra ewo nansan wiase mu na aboa yen am yetimi enyi akonkan ewo yasetena mu yenye benso dia ye wadwuma no se ne se ne fata ye da wase ewo wado mu nti amen.
Amen. Ebe nyame ase yo. Ede Awurade ase pa se waboye ho ban. Edoy mu yenche ho no. Ebedi kan aye introduction. Na introduction no me de nyame ase se me beyi me a me boss a nyame nam no so ama enne sebe me so me sa itimi koma no nyame e de me bejalo na mpanimfo se obi nim a obi kire ma ogidie se ye no ebeboa ma obi so anso so apa de ope no nyame aboa na ma ne saka ende obekasa akire no enye obi a se ye nyina director Dr. Charles Sage Dzaka CEO Swiftland IT Solution Edin no tia aso ebroni o Ghana ni pa na obebie school wɔ kurom ha ɛna atete me ama nyame adom enye baabi egyina na mnim sɛ nyame nam ɔno so ɛnɛ wobɛyɛ nhyira no nso enye baabi egyina nti yɛn nyinaa bɛyɛ din na yɛatwɛn Dr. Charles dodo yɛ de saa de different no saa so yɛ data consultant no ɔyɛ nnwuma bebree sɛ wɔno abie n'adwuma a ne company na ɛhwehwɛ no na wɔakyagye wɔ mu na wɔyɛ wɔn adwuma wɔn data consultant doctor yɛma wɔn akɔ aba yɛde platform yi ma awurade ndi wɔ anim amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Adai. That's it. And I saw remember now, but I'm not say, I don't know. I would prefer to meet anyone with my camera, so be much more interactive rather than turning up the camera. More comfortable, I will do that. Is that okay?
Yɛ pɛ sɛ nka ehu wɔ anim me
That's
deɛ
right.
na ma mefiri yi na n'aba nti na ma so.
Okay, no problem. So me that's it, Mr. Adai, and I saw him in Bluebiase at the First Nova Adventist Church. The Yamiase say, what my own dinner and it Misha, a person discuss it. Ejumadia, Ejumaya or Hanmusi, Pomcho, Mefra, if anything, treating it before can cry, say, okay. Na it mean a good interaction. Pomcho pa na Messiah a little introduction. Sana you started in Commodino. I see that Mr. Adai a kind, I'm within the Charles Sage Dzaka so dini silence. Atina Kruma no more check and break a cry a little over 20 years. Me banamo na me young man cry by the age of 20, 22, 23. Me banamo directly for graduate school over 20 years ago. And yamiadum, ne kwan ne nkyerɛkyerɛ moving it from multiple places. Ɔkyerɛ me ɔma me nimdeɛ binom ɛma metumi start nneɛma bebree bo a yɛ kuromfoɔ ne yɛnom bebree mu fi amano ne nti no ndiketi mu a no ɛne sɛ mebaa no mo as a student no about 22 years ago no mebaeɛ besua me masters in applied mathematics. Na no nso ewie no na it's a PhD program, but you poaching me to another program rather than doing pure mathematics in the PhD. No, some offer bit more by meeting me and then me enjoy offer no, and moreover no so na a novel opportunity be a university no. On person introducing some will recruit you a lot of data. I mean, a lot of engineers and mathematicians. Some PhD in economics. I mean, economics no be that. So economics be the economics I can kind of inquire demand and supply inquire be a friend of mathematical economics. Mathematical economics are more of applied mathematics and simulations into economic model building and theories. And what's your economics that and I say me something like demand and supply, theoretically the you draw graphs and demand and supply graphs, the analysis near kasa no, you're now into model into something they call differential calculus, which is why math that a very, very integral component of mathematical modeling and also matrices and stuff, which was my background. And the teaching man say to be a degree, a PhD in economics, even though initially I didn't have an economic background, but maybe a layer. Tinyamiadum. From that time now, nankasa me kochadie na di na ni sakadi ade na me professor me be professor of economics or mathematical economics or university. Timinye juma bebre. Maybe no in a tenor position or school boy in New Jersey, friend of Rutgers University. Some brainy man na missing opportunity bia. Na America cry na you can't be different data science. You can't so na mostly theories and ideas. And then AI na can all ideas and simulation you build models, but see it mean be just of paperwork. But not data science, idea a group and I invest in data science at that point in time. There's nothing like that. So and computer science is not data science. Or management information system isn't data science or today data analytics now. So a bit of information from everywhere. Into Massachusetts are buying the state of Massachusetts. Now Mupuchi me first from university. In fact, I can make call University of Tennessee. I'm not even Croman say. The boy be brave. Into the known I'm the call honomo. Because me starting my profession is that rather than going to academia no. Me choose industry because nasi can ye me who be in TV brother at that moment in time no. I'm the ready money somehow around 2006, 7 thereabout. You know, the real man say minimum mathematics and some little program be a mathematical program if I know SAS, statistical analysis programming. Yes, maybe in IT. So IT is math the only quality of IT. Maybe in TB brother. Yes, so money a year more some baramo yachiramo. Idea is money theory I put together here or together now. Yes, a bit more implement something like data science and data analytics. You see so more NIMDA or quantitative stuff, mathematicians, engineers, economists, and stuff like that. I'm not very, very good with that idea. Okay. And the opportunity na bet say you program name you say at the can you know 2 years I'm develop that expertise no na nipa won kakra bi tina idea na for data analysis na with the main thing na obia India for year they move India baby brace so be a consultant experts and so na omo be no be ade no be na ba na omo degree from India. But now India for GD, you man have say omo no me ban into no challenge omo. Na e be before omo dey e bit ma kan nationwide kan endorse. Me ejuma hold me 2 years. 2 years the na NSA for federal government no so no. Opportunity buy no move me from Massachusetts and by Maryland NSA or Fort Meade. Joanna a skill no super honey by building as data scientist. The first data science team or the NSA no na first 100 individuals now you hire or more nationwide on that. I mean I don't make a be. The first big NSA data science. I mean for the federal government generally and security intelligence. Ubeka be mo be na fe na do asumudin na honne aban be ko asem mo mbre bia se o China yi Russia no okay me squad no me group na yes you fire on you know me developing me skills no be no be very strong in some programming languages especially SQL na mostly data until say Python so by gidi na all the other pieces they put it together. But no na Indian company be wo Virginia more no more side no a friend say or Force Church from intelligence and enterprise business, a lot of them or Northern Virginia, Honoma. And now almost the Grofo if India be H1B for my father mom some expert. Some about my campaign war who still be or Virginia or in the weekend no now Omuchi I mean me drive one my coach I mean, one be na me chase India for the brain. Some about the brain, no more human, my buy human. I think we do money na the choma in Wahia. Onumuno na adamphobia me share no. Or somewhere in Maryland. Nigeria ni Lady B. Don't see the Kunufia in Nigeria ba. 2010 thereabouts. Na was upon me chow. Nikuno a IT person or Nigeria, Africa IT na help desk. Man can say big thing more. A person to integrate the skills no America had mo say na unu obey na membo no unu say me wo me kon India football mo coach mo ade wo Virginia hono mo e mo page mo nkofo no mo de mo e ba no komo mo contract ni dada to make my buana te numra me course me kon ko introduce ma India for no say mini ani na me person to run the program ni bi ya me na me instructor na wa no mo say ti no mo na rembi omo ya na omo block it omo person room na me say hey sir nti no mo wani room because of baby ni nti a mo person mo monopolize those days na be phone ni IT mo kra cyber security kwa na nipa kakra bi na yebi we ka data de na be before kro ni mo kra just say before free amano nene before had before ni mo kra ya India phone na dominating 100%. A little bit of South Asia for your Koreans na China on common also na brofo no kakra bi but before the ni mo kra now back Africa for the other bi yes say your accents kese almost some de nye but still na ye dey encounter bi kra tina ne me ya am so sa se mo fa so ni tina mo me ben mo no then me ye bi fufuro na me ma che me nkrof ni bi se na ma be mu anu so na me start say mo nipa be me nu me nsa bi ho na mo mbra na Sunday na me ko na me ko cha de ba Saturday na me ko cha de ba nyume no ma ba me nchen na ma che mo me fie or Maryland at the time. Tinipa be for the mobile manji obi sika na me choma di me kon ma ba na choma di bo mo juma. After that I had a be very short but very intensive, just about 6 weeks. Me bo mo be the resume na anka na me choma how to interview na anka on nipa na me choma de na nipa be 3 na ye obi o mo free manani aba mi Nigeria for member 3 na Ghanaian guy bi so na wo me neighborhood na me ono so no yejuma wo yi some home health agency bi kofi na me chene ka ho tipa 4 na yejuma fe or big companies at the time I show mo won kra na mo juma no be no very normal continue juma ya bi mo increase from somewhere those time will be yejuma making annual salary be $25,000 to $30,000 a year. Now we'll raise it all the way to 100,000, 120,000. Those time. Oh, na ya wasem. It's na knowledge na mode information core community name na confess mo be brave. So, minimbre. Se me sadia and they may start program be. No. Started the first data analytics, data engineering, data science. Data shop training in the entire DMV. Now, it be no class or minority first. So the night. It's a lot of guys and more Virginia more into big IT roles. No, don't know about 2 year training program. No, now training almost starts the DMV money now. Maryland, Virginia, DC, Aquacosi, Pennsylvania, Delaware, or the East Coast. No. Then I am more a former student in the the pioneers in the data field now. And they are building over the years. Now, devolve it to company. We will not only training now. More into consulting as well. The training was side, consulting was side. A J contract now can be a year. Build that system now and the final to produce more data people. Tinaka Kremal no. No introduction or any Juma but and then no if I say me think more crazy, na me member kwana mutim bisa me questions kakra na ye chichi nyeme mu sine we are interested at betting was when ya opportunity to live a better life in America and any America do get biasa what me retire ye na bet na yamiadum is yuma wayeno Oklahoma means never one then with Martina more comfortably. Ghana as no better got now so they are now a better more system, better opportunity, better life. What not gonna retire, what my retire year. It's open out the opportunity to decide where you want to live and not because I sit in my brabomo didn't now move you to a certain place, but you have the privilege and opportunity to choose maybe as a ultimate na who retire and as a who continue brabo of the juma. Into the teaching one and no. But and then when I care about the data, na you just say I think that data is a very important commodity in commodity and sorry I will cramp no. Say any members information na ye nim asori mba no edi ni almost some system ni obi almost na anka ho na say asem to obi crampo and so be absent from Ejuma for a long time I mean from sorry for a long time asori grant me nye and show care and was me see you na check asori nim into no ye dana BBS ya ye nim ti yankwa hwɛ na ne chi na ye hu say sɛbe na ho te sɛn ebusi ho te sɛn yehu mu akyɛ wasɔre mu na sɛ asɔre ne asɔre kɛse a ɛba ne sɛ na wotumi ehu sɛ mensa anaa kodwo amba asɔre this particular number of weekends yi Saturdays yi sɛ asɔre ne nni members ne information a ebi asɔre secretary anaasɛ asɔre mpanyinfoɔ yɛtumi nya opportunity because sɛ yɛmake nkɔfo ba no mo asɔre ba attendance na de so nipa ba asɔre bi a turu bi a offering anaa yɛfrɛ no collection anaasɛ bi a tithing anaa something of that nature you take information on that to be embassy for a very long time or being show up for a very long time to asɔre groups na ka itimi a contact omo the itimi contact is because you information into itimi a track omo down right. It's here for data so now, and data information. Data to me boa, ejuma sorry ni bibi bebre it make decision data driven. Yes, you guess it. Ebi any pan oba sorry so no. Oba or not tell oba ya no ko. Into no physically, but oba sorry. Next your data or deeper no oba sorry no say net oba sorry into no say offering a child offering ni pan no tia offering and count you dipedino. Nti nipa no was sorry no ba sorry or your present yes I wona wo hu no nti ne yaka kwohwe ne chi ana se wan ba sorry kra ye hu ne di we ni ma no ye take this say ka kwohwe nipa na ye kwohwe ne because ye hu say data ya collect and information wa ba nipa ne kire say nipa na ye den wanti man ba sorry ne nti ne ti amu ni say America no from every business decision is now expected to be data driven, right? So companies no longer rely on intuition. They want a measurable, evidence. So, example, say, what say customer that cost me lower, then our customers no pay. Where money is being wasted, which products to build, how to optimize operations. Data is essentially the backbone of modern strategy for every enterprise, right? Now, say, and they say AI, but in the base say IT, absolutely not. A human grab more and need more skilled data people to feed the AI with the data information relevant for AI to make much more efficient and accurate predictions, directions, and dedications to businesses and enterprise and living generally. So just here, data there, and yeah, there, and then they can prepare more with more skills needed. So when we talk about AI, which is artificial intelligence and automation, it has rather exploded the demand for data. So all AI models, artificial intelligence models needs clean data, label data, and a large volume of historical data, to make us make predictions based on historical events, to make us make efficient or clean and accurate decision. Somebody must prepare the data for this AI. So without strong data teams, right, companies can't adapt, no way, to AI effectively. Somebody has here. Let's go more into detail to explain this concept. I'm making it very simple. Or a trick as a man, I made a buffalo from Yana, or Mama stop me. And as a me, I may stop him this year, and maybe some Mamma Kwam be some question. Kasaka Kramakano. As I'm going to detail now. My church, choir, you bet me. Afason, as a soremba, they hit me any this opportunity. No, you see, dear. Now, I prepare for this beautiful future of data. You know, remember quite just about, 2 or 3 minutes, then I'm going to question, I responded, as I'm wrap it up, the information. I'm a patch
Doctor,
because
Anga, and the other to Anga, what one in your so. I say, oh my way here, because there's our questions. Remember the other information I can hear. And the communication for your word party. Can finish in Indiana, who do best 45 and now your crana, who are their questions number.
okay, me that's it. My bonnet TTM because I'm saying, Castle mechanic be but may summarize it. Now, yet me in your kind of questions. So another important reason here, data in here, partner, now, both from your kind of digital transformation, which has created more massive data streams. So there are things we call cloud platforms and application or apps, right? And then something called Internet of Things devices and online maybe transactions. These different platforms generate several terabytes of data daily, right? So someone has to capture this information, right? Store the information, and then also claim, analyze, and secure it, right? That someone is the data workforce, right? Another important thing, and they say, even for regulation and compliance, we require or it requires accurate data. So industries like finance, healthcare, and government must meet strict standards when it comes to data. So bad data is a legal risk. So we need people to make sure that we have a data that complies with all these industry regulations. And so we need somebody with the expertise to build that system for such capturing, right? Another thing about data is that it gives a competitive advantage now, through insight. So companies that understand what we call their data, outperforms those, that don't, have data ecosystem or good data for that matter. So it's that simple. So that being said, now how do you get into the data field? And then as there are 3 main entry paths depending on your background and goals. And I want to make this, statement here. You don't really need education in computer science or information system or any particular technical, regular education or university education or degree to get into this field. Many people don't know, especially here free. I'm an banner. So yeah, they share you must say. In order to get opportunity to work in corporate America in such technical field, no, then you have to go to school. Student because me, if be some they say na what's it? Too many certificate educational certificates and what can you hear? absolutely cry is say debt now the also cry, but there is so many easier and better ways to get into this industry. You don't need to spend that. No degree idea was share or Ghana. What the relevant to America, how do we say, is how you are taught to organize your thought and build skill sets aligned to that degree, education, history, music, whatever it is, something that has put you into a frame of higher learning. It's enough. And majority, Mr. Adabekacho, majority of the people who are even bossing in the industry, don't need degree in it. Maybe an adwuma na sika big go be say corner question ade bosom be out there every year be more 5,000 say for support to educational benefits not of use because there is opportunity for them to. But what is needed is a special skill that you will need people or industry experts to guide you, tailor your profile, and coach you, give you that tools to get in the industry so you can perform and be able to capture the goods for the lack of right expression. So, so what's you the organ and I say any club be so now the you don't have to underrate or diminish that knowledge now the educational experience now it's relevant in America. Titane about club and must say catch so school rock or Ghana cramp on the munim o comuna or do on our cramp work cramp so on your doctor maybe our wakoyan the certificate will because it's required most of the top guys want to tech especially one go school Kumasi think of something out there or I say you have to school me na me opportunity I can make me resume straight away ayejuma maybe I make me masters no nka meko ako come say I'm a billionaire because me we see me seek a bebre. I didn't know say me back room and say me the education me the school the ban say meaning trata the only way to stay here legally you have to stay in school as long as you could. So we say trata be yes I help people know be illegal na feel over here with deep of nature you have a long route I rather endure the pain then than to rush out and go struggle. Now school as I'm school as a student, I was stipend. I determined me balance my crab. To me anyhow, sir, because you have me expenditure no. It live according to the means at that point in time. What is it, school switch you have school fees, mammy. And you just go on free, say your PhD, and I also unya. And yes, school na me go schools and make a go school na go pay my case here. As a matter of fact, now you may grab me him say, me run, me point to this route. Me teacher from a collab now. Maybe someone say me the teacher in Amazon. Say now don't basically me the teacher. Is my teacher will heaven. My name is Mr. Dai na a teacher for. Ye pa the chair pa idea home. Tina made me say, Juma bet my teacher. Until they make a teacher and say a degree, the brain is to get this opportunity, it's not relevant. Na make no more actual. So there are three main entry paths, depending on your background and goals. One, there's a technical path, which I will categorize that under engineering and architecture in modern terms. So this part is ideal for people who enjoy building systems, right? So you will have to, acquire skills, data skills such as BBFN SQL, which is structured query language, is the first love language of data. I put it that way. So be aware data you may be as who name SQL fundamentals, and I say, I don't know how you survive here for all this while. In the SQL and SQL, they're very important technical skills are, if you want to get into this field, as a wunya, maybe so any Python. Python is a language for data manipulation, data extraction, data predictive modeling, and all that. Even AI, most models are built on with Python stuff. I see a language, and then we have today world-class platforms like AWS, Azure, and GCP. These are cloud platforms that provide not data applications or services, but also can help develop simple AI models for automating series of jobs that otherwise require a lot of manual processing. You can automate. Automation means that you're making it much more uh, easier and easier to process with speed, accuracy, and stuff like that. And then there is also a skill called ETL, which is extracts. Basically, it means extract, transform, and load. That's the word ETL. Or ELT, which is extract, load, and transform tools. So I know you are learning the skills so you can understand industry data, understand location, understand and build seamless pipeline processing to bring this data into a more organized, centralized location so that companies and organizations can use this data for operational efficiency and build models and stuff for today's contemporary industry so they remain competitive in the industry and also have or build a higher returns on investment as well as being able to cut unnecessary cost or waste in their processes. These skills, SQL, Python, cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, ELT or ETL tools like DBT, Airbyte, or Airflow, data warehousing tools or environment or platform like Snowflake, BigQuery, Redshift. I'm sure a lot of you, some of you already have heard these tools and programs, around you, or you have also attempted getting into this field in the past. So some of these might be familiar. Some of you might be familiar with these things. So SQL and Python are basically, data program, the data love languages. So you need to get those skill sets, relevant skill set to become stronger and get or break into the industry. Now, when you have this skill set, as a data person, you can play multiple roles, and these roles are six-figure salary roles, more flexible, unless walk or fall into Trump no, I say you push your by force. Now, most of these roles are also remote. That's virtual. It gives you that family time. It gives you the opportunity to earn significant salary and still build strong family background. And then you say, teaching your backroom hand, mama, but you'll be some question.
Hi, doctor.
Obi microphone BA na MZ Kasai. Timpacho Petwas.
Okay. Yeah, now you question to say mama yejuma wo maybe mama is a nurse, that is yejuma was a nursing home. In that time different, mama go yejuma no pa. Now that they can you brain and clan with the alternative in your family time because of yejuma family unit no be a little much more not strong. Maybe we can eat sometimes a craving. So your pastor can actually because we have to pay the bills and the Juma, As when you get into this industry now, at least you may be guaranteed your weekend, and mostly so most times you're about 5 actually 5 mama upon that is upon your family time. And you more of you vacation me a cry cotana a beer pool and your home not colana it me the agro is also you would manga crown chain and you have everything together. Babano be much more healthy, not just chasing money and trying to build stability in the system, right? So common rule ubeti may play if you have these skill sets now, you can play a role like a data engineer, data architect, something we call ETL developer or cloud data specialist. Mr. Dai, Mr. Dai, data engineer, but you need specific, skill sets I mentioned around to be able to perform these roles, data roles. So the other path is the analytical path. Omo build the insight and business impact. So it's very much ideal for people who enjoy solving business problems. Again, the synergy between all these different paths. SQL, LBBR, you will need skills in Excel, SQL, Power BI, or Tableau. A little bit some statistical interpretative knowledge, like what does mean or average means, what is maybe median means, so you can median we are. So in those interpretation, just simple interpretation of statistical measures. And then business domain knowledge, so you can align this data skill into answering specific business questions, building dashboards and reports. So with that skill set, you can also play a role as a data analyst or business intelligence analyst or developer, operations analyst or marketing analyst. Okay. The third part, data science and AI part. It's basically about machine learning and model building. So we need a very ideal for people who enjoy math and modeling experimentations, right? Again, skills that are here, Python, SQL, the same thing from all these three, but machine learning libraries like TensorFlow, BFN PyTorch or SkySet-Learn, statistical and probability, knowledge, which might not be, too much, but at least you need those knowledge to become an AI engineer. Today, you need to be able to interpret statistics and probabilistic modules. You have to also know how to build data models. Okay, data models that build around business insights and business, inquest, right? You also learn something we call feature engineering. So when you have this skill set now, you can play roles like a data scientist, a machine learning engineer, or AI researcher. Okay, so roles are going now, your company, ebit my boy, I develop that skill sets now. What me perform one or two of these roles. When you that skill sets now, what perform at least two of these roles now, and then I don't have best to America from say a shiki crampa encounter. Because we are very, very important figure. We are very, very important in industry, and you can play, can perform and work in almost every facet of industry and life in modern society now. So there's other emerging data roles because data has, exploded. There are new specialties that have emerged.
Doctor,
Yes, me rapid it's a question. Rapid.
maybe say, what kind of vessel will leave you into suspense?
Okay.
Time to know.
Okay.
Never say what say.
Okay.
I feel most obi which acquire no pay me. Na questions be bree a pese busa. Na me brother pese busa bi maybe no.
Okay.
Na ti hangi ha.
Okay.
Na questions na enti membra.
Okay. Matthias here.
Emre do say questions no ba. Medical busa me de name mo bi. Me also costero busa epejansa. But mo platform de medical busa me de. Dr. Pacho cyber for no omodos pa. Yeah, and environment. If you are much exams, the work so exams American you want you see exams and send work ABB. The whole thing. You make exams and I enjoy exams. And send any certificate at the acquire juma na the question.
That's it, Mr. Adai. Yeah, exam being here. Exam being here. The beautiful thing is that data is a very special, environment. You don't need to write. There's no specific examination about show competency of one against the other, because there are numerous tools, and every tool has its own, level of expertise that you have to gain. And the industry will choose one or two of the many tools. So, you don't know what it is that the industry need. So industry is not focused on you having to have a certification of a sort before getting it. So you don't need nothing. All you need is to be able to build the expertise that is required. General expertise, I'm a boy, say SQL, Python, AWS, GCP, and so those knowledge, basically the fundamental knowledge. It doesn't have to be even very deep, because a lot of the deep stuff comes with actual learning. Actual working. And so you don't need an exams. No certification is required. And that is why most people get in the industry faster. But it is more challenging than the cybersecurity. And I say, cause cybersecurity, but cyber the choky. What I say, you go for the only you first. I buy you go for baby and cyber phone account because most of them need repetitive. Okay, nipa you ma o yana nipa be for na ya there will be a touch think bisa munye dra say you man you say you go for the only be you first. What I say, data na mo you do na call mo because mo say I didn't but and yet anyway, but it's more challenging than cyber, which is expected. And so in order to break, the card number down, cyber they are more structured. It's not as broad as data. What I say, exactly. And in structured now because cyber also goes with regulations more so than data. But today, data also goes with a lot of regulation. It's broad, so you cannot narrow it down to a specific certification. So it's not required at all. You need to get a better skills integrated well in your resume, able to defend those skills, and that's it. And any educational background is relevant. Even people without degree, if they can, project and brand themselves well through their profile, they will be able to get in the industry much easier. And so
Okay.
you don't need certification at all.
Thank you.
Just as you are.
That's it. Indeed, Doctor, they said, okay, the questions about BB today. I'm going to brief. No, I'm going to then the page.
When you say, "Madam, Pekasa," into my yard.
Because I remember, like I said, they did to that. Or need be my program. So it's sana hoa. Or Katia, then I you. Adam Pacho, oh, so Oti and Kakasa.
Doctor, wait a minute, I see. Doctor, I have 3 questions. My first question is, also, communication week. In the first place, your young guys need be brave also. A choir man na umbetima faswa agedi into this field. Na almost so etima call money. And the 2, as a church, benefit ben ye benya communication for akofa we nyina aba as a church. Ede na ebetimi enya wo saa ade a yesua we mu. Data ni media ni we a beboa ye nkwaje nso so. And finally, ye mu bebre so omu fize omanyini omaye mpanifo di adesua we de e fa omo ho ben. So ne bakura beka Python ni we na wonte de opese wo kere na se kura ndi in a AI level no omo so ede no betima benefit we manase betimi de actually youngsters na and omo no amo say this kind of field and so omo ko ho a won so cash ho me da se
ansa na wode eno baba megiri se bia de oka no Mr. Ada achro me na like am be say Mr. Doctor oka sem bi na me no this is the first time me tie me nim say difference wo data ni cyber mu difference in anything. Oh, I'm very much interested in that.
Okay.
Okay, and actually, imagine is maybe my say is the same. It's no case data nkona cyber nkono. I'm say is in a nutshell, so wait me about the top answer and walk market the so amamia.
Okay, remember Mr. Entry
Adako.
Pastor.
Pastor Adakwa Juman so answer my answer that okay.
Yeah.
Adakwa man reference kakra say difference between data and cyber.
And the cyber.
Is there any data? Okay. Yeah, of course. These are very significantly different fields in IT. Cyber, no, just as the name specifies, no, a way of building governance and security on systems, including data itself.
Wow.
Yeah. It's no pure cyber. Why I say, yeah, me funny say, and then I buy ejuma na your security men or much na anymore who buy a scan or more room on account. If I say, no, in the world of cyber or space or cloud system or virtual systems, no. Obviously, the anymore or no gather, no. So no gather is more sort of protection of these systems, no. Or defining the rules that govern how to access these systems, and there's level of security trainings and stuff that's needed to do that. And so we are security of systems and technology, we are security men. But to security physical stuff, you are securing untouchable systems and applications. And this data also no. That systems now cyber for secure no provide security and governance to those information systems no. Mostly the data components no. Data for you got data for data no, so your numerous skill sets no. Engineer, analyst, BI developer, cloud specialist, scientist, and then all that are different data skills, and you're different from cyber security. And one is cyber security, more think of it as a security of systems, not people, like we all know. And data the systems are protect, secure.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And the first question say the quite better we a first so about data field, how is it going to be relevant to the Christianity or Christendom?
So me say or say how to get into the industry.
How to get into the industry.
Exactly. To the church. Right. And he's talking about also is there any age limit? Yeah, in summary, no. Okay, my main boss, what Bobo Bleacher is so me said, my company the first one here, how to get into it. And the man said you need a specialized training. A training that builds so who could school and computer science and information system, which I don't think that so one year degree there, men can say degree yet. So we have been more and I say with me at least when you first degree grandpa I'm on here for crack with us in kind of into men can say uncle degree only be now person who be but more than the be no more no and also limitation mouth. So when you need to be trained. It's an institution be say institution supplement IT solution maybe Mr. Adai far and I'm so it may break it industry. It's a company I run it most of this training. You're training on ways where you prepare on how to interview, how to apply, how to build your resume. And then we help you, we support you to get in as somebody who have had the skill set based on the project. Now it may advance okay, well, why your project be so we need at least a minimum of 4 years exposure to this technology or system. Now you can do it. And so we can vouch for the expertise in doing so and so. The training programs are the way. It sits between education or regular or formal university education or high school education and industry of work. There's a huge gap between the actual things that you remember in school. Such trainings are much more practical training. I sit in between these two environments now, which is here and I bridge the gap between regular or formal education. Because you would have to definitely take a very organized and structured training, such as what Swiftland IT Solutions, my company, provides. That is number one. Now the benefit to the church. Imagine say, I saw somebody na would you baby or more year, sebi. Now we juma or I think most time the weekend no call you man. International crowd to me uncle. The human donor so no. The human people be a but the young sorry money be done as a secretary at me more sorry. Send the sorry no. Ever boy sorry so. I saw be queen. Say ni person sorry, project be na of course. Or that convenience not to support the project financially or whatever, or your presence. Beside the benefit of the church in Krano, this field actually brings some level of comfort to most immigrant families. Unlike some 20 years ago, when our uncles and our fathers came here, it was a different story. Very few people had this opportunity. I saw you queen, say Juma, sorry, it ran to certain level of work environment. They are much more contributing members of the church. They are much more available to church activities, and the family unit grows better. A good profession also help, push forward the agenda of the gospel based on the opportunity to provide. Now, hope is about the age limit. There's no age limit. There was a certain time in our training program, sometime around 2017. There was a very big man, culture no you can big man, say big man or senior dear park or Harvard na de rise be senior vice president of Morgan Stanley USA or a Ghanaian man pinyi pa Juma politics by the Unifijum Kakra. Unifijum no would be 61 years old, or no person retire quick 62. It's not surprising. One Prokopek, Papa Nako you, Papa Penny. Then the doctor introduced you, Dr. Nigerian introduced you, say, Ghana near Kola do a Hanamusi or what to me with my transition from the financial service industry, senior vice president, they to get into detail. I said, my papa penny make my head anymore. I know this people, your for more India, my some of us senior executives. But I don't know how to do that, and I can't do that at this age now. My man encouraging our man to be by. I don't know, say Mr. Adai, whether you had a chance to meet Mr. Belloc before, what he didn't quite that.
But there be no comment about
Okay. So it's one of the many examples. I be more at the age of 61, but gentleman, Morgan Stanley, the major competitor, which is T. Rowe Price, now as a head of technology, data intelligence. Mutuano 1.5 more than how much he earned in his entire 35-year career. Roos become a senior vice president of Morgan Stanley USA. First job as a technology officer in business intelligence for a competitive company, a competitor company, which is T. Rowe Price. It's more than that, way more than that. So Nipan also retire at the age of 62. He ended up retiring almost at 70, almost. Almost at 70. You see, look younger than he was before because he had more flexibility, he had more money, and he enjoyed what he was doing. And he will say that, look, the last years of my career transition has been the best. Over 35 years I have been in this other industry, and I thought I was at the top. So yeah, age limit doesn't play here. It's the willingness and the ability to follow simple instruction and be led into the industry that is needed. Age limit doesn't matter at all. You can get in as late as you desire and have the temerity to go through the process. Yeah, no. I don't know if my answer question in
Okay, doctor, the question is why are they? But your question so wait me the question about.
Oh, I think that no one away and na me the age na me de ketewa bi so follow up question sense so still on the age limit when say you fan say obi wa ha o free Ghana buy kra no ye mu bebre bedu krom akra nsa na email address kra yetimi abie ne enim anything about computers. I know say cyber security and database and doesn't necessarily deal with typing or other stuff.
Yes.
Now, because me database me 12G release to Oracle, and there's some more than 19 as I say now. Majuma say at a point to be na me compare Juma, but me call you know. It be based on my age in the young folks now no more, but they were hiring them more than who call 50 new 60 hono. Enti obia or be 50 years, 55 or 60 now onim anything about IT no. I'm still coming back again. Those people, is it still helpful for them to get hands-on and you think that they can get a job to compete with the young people on mobile?
Yes.
Listen,
Question. Good question. Yes, absolutely yes. Let's answer this question. And I always maintain the fact that 99%, if not 100%, of Omomura industry, they do not have any prior experience. Where were they going to get this prior experience? Is either gained through a specialized training or having worked in the industry before, if you have. But again, you are talking about somebody who's going to the industry for the first time. No one had experience. Now, it doesn't really matter. And the age factor, looking at age and discriminating or choosing somebody against somebody in the industry is not legal. It's not something that the HR principles allow. It's like when you is a young father. Now, when you now was skills and I say experience about me, into the young guy in all the room, if he's able to articulate his experience and build a better profile, he also gained those experience and profile building through these trainings. The same thing the older guy would do through the training. So it's how confident one presents their profile or skill set in a resume and defend it or train on how to speak on those. That determines who gets hired or not. It does not depend on the age of the individual. Mind you, nobody goes into this industries, listed industry with any experience. So let's say who you man will move from one Juma to the other one, and that your experience should be able to give you the urge, right? Because we move from one company to the other, you are working already, but you remove from the scratch, still be saying you will need a training. Training need to be built, meticulously to your resume and build a wonderful profile and help you to be able to defend those profiles to get into the industry. So they are not looking at your age during the interviewing process. Maybe our body white, and I would hear white, and then when you be or naturally, or a great person.
okay.
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, me that's a partner. Obi testimony. Can you talk about price line around that cost, man? Maybe I just one figure be.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet then cry. So ideally, right, this program now, you do it individually, but we have built a system integrating all these skill sets into one program. So as we move forward, we show you that having this skill set and applying this way, you will be able to perform the role of that. Applying that role that way, you're able to perform the role as this, and so on and so forth. So it's a program that encapsulates data generally and allows you to zoom in your area of strength or interest. The cost of the entire program is the cheapest you can imagine with such development is $5,000 which you have for a one-time payment. And we also have payment plans that will help you to pay this in bits, starting by depositing $2,000 and paying the remaining balance in installments. With that plan, which you know which you pay $5,500. But I bet you, if not, I like the number 90. It's not because it is based on as a number person. It's based on our history and records. So about over 90% of our people that get into the industry for the first time earn salaries way above $120,000 minimum. Okay, over 90%. So paying $5,000 for entire opportunity such as this is money worth. No, any response, no.
That's it.
Mate.
That's it.
That's it.
But just a good question. Be my family.
iPhone user be a man in Sasso, ni din count in din kwa.
If I'm back over to me about iPhone user.
Man in Sasso.
iPhone 17. But what time in car waiting me.
I could 17 I am Mavic. Question is say, sir, I to post to see. Ya not mean who's a martyr yet. I'm one nay. I feel so I am ranty and qua. And so I'm saying, well, you ever want more cry. I'm paying for to me. And fact, near ye, na me person this as an anti-item, so paying for bet me. Says square working, paying you bet me I could be. I put up one I'm in your juma.
Yes, Mama, yes, of course. In painful baby, you're talking about people in their 60s and I say early 60s and late 50s. Yeah, of course. Of course, now with this 70 now, person already with my it doesn't have age limit at all.
Yeah, that's
At this time, Crampono, we oba na so person render ye wow, baby. The little knowledge, yeah, but see, I do because you have my baby, ye be. It's an American advantage in memory is here. You may be. Yes, of course. In my baby, would you mean a painful baby, would you mean room at the very later stage? It has no limitation at all. So, I make no. You say, yes, set your mindset no for fear, say, you may be a member, Juma. In the argument, you may be not if you set your mindset no, and baby, you go say, so Okusuku and secondary school and as a university or Amanonia. Now, behind my find you may be our hand, say, so queer. Quantify you may be a Debbie. And you're not correct. You can beat me room at any age. It's a willingness of better say actual plan on more fashion with see instruction and on the here. In Maso the idea industry here, to build that diverse workforce. In man and also see what I but in ma it would you mean to be brave. No more much opportunities and memorable. Yes, until bit me room.
And you say, will be our 76 or Bassa register no.
76. Ukraine mean 76 dear. Obi maybe so age dear. What you say? So would you madden also person dear? The be my way. You man be mama almost discriminate because of a very illegal stuff. See a discrimination 76 so you are retirement age exactly. So intuitively no. Okay, you are retired. Not to obey maybe okay, retirement, we call retirement and now I bored. Now if you na you may be hano to so come back. The human and son, human and the therapy and they drew. And so on, but intuitively somebody in 70s, they saw on the page maybe sir. And yes, you were from more dear. So yeah, but intuitively most people around that age wouldn't go into this sort of line. And yet discrimination, but
there's no girl say we are. You bet me a boy more than
of course, you training
my memoir. Well, to the year course on my EV and near last meeting, we say individual now walk on which now my own. So sink here or no sink it. So also sink here, yen I sink it. Into corner coin ambassador.
exactly.
I walk on. And TBB, I also this shay and some my quiet ye mua. My whole say your corner, and hold dim or the shay mu, and my koi. And I never call me my cyber and be paying, it will be ho. Ye we and one minimum upon. I say a bepping there, me started course in 2020 cyber, but probably on 2022. Up to date, me no contacts. You didn't come up, me con office. Dr. Winnie, there my Winnie, ye what you must say, ain't he? Ejina wone no nkita ho anase se de osi atete ye no wa onya oda enti one ye kwa kopun se ye ko ye nyina ye ko enye edoso pa edoso enti yen ho no se yen kan ka se wudwie na mo for mo family ne dia mo nkomo bi amodi na chiri me hu so bi apajansa doctor onsa na be go ni pakrodian so we dem opportunity ma me nkasa ba ko
Mate
obi te se me boy no or high school Sister Susie Bay, your church youth no more honor, university. A bedrooms have boys see, or maybe we grass our third way. na school kɔ na nkɔ be bree na so no matumi ahyia ɔmo baby ntam ahyia nti me question no ɔmbɛyɛ
Oh, easy stuff. The earlier the better. What you say? I don't know. Say, come out about officer now. We share young boys, people, Daniel, ne, Jesse, ne, even me what I say, Justin cry. When now so much a program here say, senior, I'm a senior in high school. Now most of these young guys in corporate America at the age of 18 and a half. Most of them were introduced to higher six-figure salaries at the age of 18 and a half. And by now, most of these guys are now 20, 25, 27, 24. Will be already 27 years or almost about 10 years experience in work. Maybe 27 years, 28 years. Justin 28. Justin has 10 years advantage. I mean, experience in real time, career IT job. You know, we masters now can America and we say we say we need somebody with 10 years experience. And I mean, we used to manage. I'm here 10 years experience now. About phone call and I almost started very early, so they have the experience. 28 years now, or 10 years experience now. You know, yes, as you are nearing or you are in the working age, legal working age of 18, it is much advantageous for you to, or for your parents to enroll you in programs like this to build a skill set and get you into the industry as early as possible. It's helpful.
Okay.
Of course.
Margaret SS2 and send her sister Ajima Baba. Margaret mpacho wo so abetumi akasa.
Obani mpacho medase. Mpacho na me bisa say a network ana number 2 misa so bisa say 5,000 is kaketwa. Na ebi obi akope bosia na o the best start here. And know how long? And I say bi o do deposit na. Walk on anyone and own champion with me pay and how long now with me start your pay because I'm ordinary. Mpacho medase.
Good question, Auntie. First one, about my first question here, last question here about
But on first question, me say a network vanity and a network say who can refer will be an asana work or app.
No. Okay. I say pyramid scheme bisa network will be there be.
It's like computer science stuff.
Computer science stuff. Network. Although Patrick say Auntie Margaret say a network of individual network as in because you're networking.
Why you question no
It's my confused. So
my do until starting no man thing. Me buy and I work as 5 minutes spend questions in the starting.
But the all kind of munum say me tiasio say a network be say would obi ba na ye ma na wunya kwan wusua wi onya kwan ko hye ba bia na say nyame adom na wunya training ni wi a enam so acquire the skill and it's most likely say nyame betimi abo mo ya adwuma won say na o si ka no
okay.
Enti anya network to say the work can say
okay.
wunya training no anya.
Yeah, me say Pastor in Chadakwa. So so question is it could be a combination of both network and referral. It basically referral no patch.
Yes.
Yeah, so you say we do get referrals. So you man for your more skill set, will be with me a referral by a lot of those referrals from our previous students. I know where most of them in management positions in other companies. I'm going to reach out to us directly. Let me refer your call for more training. Okay, why you probably watching a deal with you too and all this skill set with me performing this role. Now they introduce mutu na money within common. So I'm find out fit. based on what you catch on, then they put you in. And year one. Secondly, education I ever need to name a preparation it opens up a lot of opportunities for you on your own to get the opportunity with our support. That is also, and that is the biggest of them beside the big referral. So anywhere you can get the opportunity to work. Yeah, $5,000 a year is a kakasi. No more no. In the scheme of things and the benefits now, it's absolutely a piecemeal if you compare. And maybe also in our best strategy with me to our canon. Yes, in America they say, yeah, but you know what, you know, natural quino, na ya lead you on, but the individual also must also have the desire and the interest to follow through a directed approach into getting this things, one, the individual is also involved. The earliest the person wants it, the more effort and more, energy the person would have to put into it. But ideally, if you are going by our statistics now, most people get job whilst the program is ongoing. Mr. Dai, it made him for the program the time saying that we bring you within the program. But it is not like it is a must. People are much more hungry, so they want to hit it right away and it's successful that way. Others are also slow learners, and we understand behind it me issue and then what I see immediately now. Some people know I didn't baby na sink it more to them. Oh, sana these are sana here. Easy as class so those people also takes time to get into this, to get the skills really embedded to them. It varies from individual to individual, but ideally people get job, by the middle to the end of the program, and most people get job after the program within the first 3 months of the program. After the program, what we also do is we don't leave you alone. Say what we program one time when need the first 2 months when need you are on your own. No. When the new set starts, we invite those who are still on the market to come in free of charge whilst they are interviewing and looking for the opportunity. They are still learning, so they keep their skills sharp. And that is a free service we give to our people so that we make sure that everybody gets the worth of of their investment. And so that is how we have run it over the years. So there is real value for your money. Absolute higher value for your money than just looking at the 5,000 as a figure on its own. Of course, yes, in the grand scheme of things. But comparatively to what you are going to get and what you are offering and what is certainly guaranteed by God's grace, it's a piecemeal comparatively.
Mr. Adam, but you wait me 30 seconds. Now I can't be a the dog kind of quick. Now yeah.
But okay, now we just start your mind.
Yo, wait a minute. I'm sorry, sir. My room. I don't come a person make can say on the IT, cyber security and database, is totally different program altogether compared to normal English and maths as you see. And to the person can say IT, sometimes you take BB says the kind of part near them want no be eagers. Oh, I'm ready because me could make it 6 figures. Me name say me I can't wait boldly say IT it's not meant for Ubia. No, me name say me I can't say I'm saying from a different perspective. Say me choir me day 2012 no I'm not up till now. They have gone to like 3 or 4 classes still no so. So when I say it's not for obi or how betina mu inti the fact that says sika woman doesn't mean say chinchina no so a kutua sika na boye ha obi a betumi aye ha obi or ha krum ha wo hia no to say school is not my thing otimika say me the school dem enye ho me die anyway ha nti say wani nye ho na say ade ahwe na emwa wa wada roma obetumi aposo no focus on something, and that's
Thank you, Mr. But it's not limited because of say obi in me. You can't get the skill set to get in or to get into the field. The skill set and the training might be enough, but it might not be sufficient to get you in there, because you also have to put in that temerity and that determination and the willingness to stay through the process. Otherwise, yeah, you get the training from wherever, but the individual also must have that desire and the temerity. Otherwise, training will just be a necessary condition, but not sufficient to get you in. But now nobody is limited.
Right.
Getting in is the individual is also very important.
Right. Thank you.
Mrs. Ajuman.
Yo, madam, I said, dog, na coupon shop. But more, I think there are 2 or 3 different kind of questions. Okay, now you do pass it, be say, it's good to still be a degree, no. And na my one okay kind of man has and a person say be I will bury high school. Is it advisable say so call could degree no nyamu ntiasia na say on for a route na 5,000 and now on make it on starting in term. After the question is second question is say if you compare the two now degree in you him coming to you now or get it education, you know. So you just kana say statistical payment now or mobile degree for more chain the crown bar classes no and after the third one also is it advisable say I can't best skip it degree no about class no was juma.
Good question, Auntie Margaret. Very good. Miss Ajiman, but the memoir. And yes, yeah, very good question. Very good question. Maintenance and kase degree yet relevant because me pass you on first degree meaning the bent over. I will absolutely not allow that. But my position, knowing from corporate America and studying the system very much, I wouldn't be that aggressive as I would have been if I had just moved from maybe say from Ghana to Hanamuse, knowing what I know. To get in this field, you don't really need the degree, even though most of the jobs, like I say, degree in this, but they substitute degree for experience. Experience is gained through the training that is well built into your resume, and it will help you to be able to defend those skill sets. But by 17, 18 years old, today obtaining degree and working in the field is not an exclusive event. Today, you can actually get in industry and be working whilst you are gaining degree. You don't wait 4 years to get a degree to come into industry and then I say, brown experience. You can actually do both. And my stepson, yeah, maybe not raising now from the age of 2. But my child is with the bear 12 years old. I'm a church and crank. When you're the first job at the age of 17 and a half to 18, working, with Google, as a data analyst. Young boys, 17 and a half to 18 years. Now, when I got upon homebody to admission to go to Columbia University in New York. As a student, no full-time job. Today, I've been 23 years old. We at Columbia University about 3 years ago. From Columbia now, with one of the hedge funds companies in New York. We have built a lot of experience. Now, Juma full-time from 18 or college full-time. When Juma remotely or building a skill set. But doctor we school and then double. Like it was with the 23 or make it over $200,000 a year. Owning this kind of year. So these opportunities are there. The earlier the better. Like I'm saying, you can get in without a degree. But at the young age, I wouldn't say only opportunity. Most of the job will give you money to do further studies, and you take advantage and do that. You don't have to wait to complete the degree to do that. So these are not something like it's not. See, systems in the education system is different. You might be on the way, but and then you can actually get this skill set, work whilst you are still completing your degree. Okay, you don't have to complete your degree or get your degree before you get to this. To make many are both. I think some answer question, but I think there's one more other question I will be saying. So, but
yeah. So when it comes to the income, we'll be really college,
Yeah, of course. It doesn't. The payment does not. It's not tied to a degree or non-degree. As a matter of fact, a lot of the big bosses in the industry, many years experience, above especially, most of them didn't have any degree. Most of them had a high school diploma, but they are very, very technically savvy. And so your degree does not determine how much you earn. People with PhD are earning the same as people with high school diploma who have been in the field. If not high school diploma, they earning more than people with PhDs. And most people with PhD are reporting people without a PhD. So the industry discuss now what the payment has nothing to do with your education. In fact, if you are taking student loan, now they can pay $80,000 after education, and that will be so. I'm not taking student loan you guys are getting paid the same amount of money, but the person is benefiting more because who to your student loan, who to your student loan. So the degree does not determine how much you earn in this field of IT. Absolutely not.
Thank you so much. But classes no you be online. I say it must be always in person.
Right now, everything is virtual.
Virtual.
You can be everywhere. We have students from all over the country and outside the country as well. And here in the break, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time on Monday to Thursdays.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Dr. Bacho, a chat was it, Madam Heather, please give the various specialties within IT and cyber security. I don't know, so we and time
cyber security is not a field that I have, much expertise in. I know because they work to protect our infrastructure, IT infrastructure and processes and stuff like that. So I know about cybersecurity specialists and cybersecurity analysts and stuff like that. But data is my specialty, and I'm a deliberate. So I can give you a lot of the, the rules in data that individuals play. And I mentioned in Workland over the use me initially over guys Bobby said data engineer, which is a role in data. Data has a lot of roles than cybersecurity. Data is much, much, much broader than cybersecurity. So he's a data engineer, there's a data architect, there's an ETL developer, there's a cloud data specialist. There is also a data analyst, a business intelligence analyst, operations analyst, marketing analyst. We also have a data scientist, a machine learning engineer, an AI researcher. These are the roles that will be able to focus and play whenever you go to the program and you choose your specialty.
Yeah. So with that was the doctor. Because questions, Saturday, Yameboa, Major Pony, Namediaba. Also be also in Yahoo Binti. I have seen the name Kakra meet me via Mayor Huajuma. Na Yame Aboni and I did Medina Queen. The bomb I say you for no. The bit me their show, especially more high school, no, they are started. It is a Drew say, or I compare Juma, on find your Juma, Papa, whatever I am then said, Nejuma, or Yen the Jumamuno. No, a yibi near Yehujuma. Until you people say, why are you Bank of America? Oh, my Mojuma women of year, and so a class now more coin. The children won, and now and I don't quite Juma so and one at every one. Dr. Beda was Namishra. Maybe there was a form of question there, baby, or time until the BC. Na so for Wednesday, a brave war, a bisadie, and send me or my dream. Radem warm, never radem more Ghana for. Na intimi enye bibi mwa ye ho na ye adwuma sem ne ye botom nye bi nkɔboa efie ɛne asetena mu nyinaa nti pastor mpakyɛw sɛ wɔ so a na wabɔ mpaeɛ na yɛde akoro so biribiara
Yo, deɛ di kan bɛda doctor ase paa nyame ɔnhyira wo yi ɔbiebie nneɛma so ama yɛyɛ mu bi no at least within this short time yɛate nneɛma bi a nam sɛ ɛnyɛ yɛ field ne yɛnim no yɛate aseɛ paa nyame nhyira wo yi paa ye nti I know sɛ abusuafoɔ moma yɛn take advantage of it sɛ woyɛ convinced na w'ani gye ho a yɛho adwuma obi nim deɛ nyame bɛtumi ama no afiri mu aba so nyame bɛtumi bi ana is for you bɛtumi aboa moma yɛmmɔ mpaeɛ awurade ɛda wase paa wɔ ɛnɛ wokɔda nnwummerɛ yi ɛnam communication for week yi nti adusua wei a wɔde ama yɛn aboa yɛn paa abiebie nneɛma ani so akyerɛ yɛ bi a wɔpɛ sɛ ɔboa yɛn nti na wɔama doctor anya adagye of ne schedule mu ne ɛba bɛtena ase abiebie nneɛma wei ɛne so ade ama yɛn ɛyɛ adwene papa adesua deɛ baabiara ne hɔ a wosua to good a ɛbɛduru mmerɛ bi bɛba so mfasoɔ sɛnea wɔɔka ne yɛn nyinaa yɛateteɛ no dwumadie wɔ yɛ dwumadie a ɛyɛ papa ɛma knowledge ne yɛwiase no deɛ ɛrekɔ no ɛno ne adeɛ a ɛrekɔ enti no so obi se n'ani gye ho no ɔbɛyɛ a ɛyɛ sɛ encourage no ne yɛyɛ na doctor nso ɔbɛbie n'ani so akyerɛ na ɔyɛ willing sɛ obetumi aboa ama training no yɛntumi mfa nyɛ adwuma ebi a wopɛ sɛ woboa yɛn mu bi enti na wama saa kwan yi yɛbɛhyia se a yɛde yɛhaw ne abɛbrɛsɛ bebree na ɛba yɛwɔ mu bebree a ɔmo yareɛ enuaba Elizabeth Ntwi enuaba Mercy anaa no wadom wɔyi no afiri hospital ama n'aba yɛnuanom a akekakeka bebree a wɔn da yɛn mu bi prayer list so a yɛkae wɔn mo da bia yɛnuaba Tapukua yɛnuaba Eliza Frima ɛne wɔn mo akekakeka nyinara yɛba mpaebɔ a nka saafoɔ no na yɛsrɛ ma wɔn mo enti deɛ yɛsrɛ sɛ yɛn mpo yɛkae wɔn mo a wo nyame wura mfii wɔn mo da biara da ɛne immigration nsɛm ahodoɔ a wɔma ɛde ba bɛgu anim nyinara wonnim sɛ wɔma so wɔammoa yɛyɛ ne obiara wɔ asase so enti deɛ yɛsrɛ no sɛ hu wɔn mmɔbɔ hu yɛn mmɔbɔ na boa yɛn na yɛ abusadeɛ ma doctor nso so ɔba bɛka yɛn ho ɔyɛ nipa nti ɔno nso wɔ ne he adeɛ ɛnhyira a wɔde ma yɛn nyinaa no na modom nso fa bi ma no akoma pa a wɔwɔ no yɛ ntiri a wɔde ama no no ma no ntimi mfa mmoa nipa te sɛ deɛ wɔyɛ firi sɛ sɛ wo so wobɛma obi sika ɛde ayɛ biribi a knowledge no ɛkyɛn sika mmoro so bebree ɛnam sɛ yɛade pa nti wɔmfa nsie ne nnua no mu wɔpɛ sɛ yɛhunu na yɛn nso yɛbɛsɔhwɛ boa no na ma no nimdeɛ ɔne ne nkɔfoɔ a ɔmkeka bɔ mu ne n'adwuma a wɔyɛ ne ntoa so nkɔ soɔ ne nhyɛ odi konko no animuonyam yɛbɛhwɛ ti ne akɔ akɔde yɛde nkɔ nyinaa hyɛ wo nsa ma de kyea afɛfɛ mpo yɛ so wɔ Yesu Kristo din mu nti amen amen that's paa
yɛda ase abusuafoɔ mbɔ a yɛhyia memenda ne yɛato ase ɛsɛ kyɛ
Acho checkboard for Yebeshia.
Yeah, about
dwumadie bi mu hɔ anaa
it was so
That's what's watching. A China Friday, you know, and I could be in Saturday or so.
India,
amen. Yes, that's bye.
Mike, my just say Bishia or here, and okay. Okay.
Me boafo uja mi mu ami seshe ona usadi kafoni mu ma otumi e wadwuma no ona usadi kafoni mu ma otumi so wani akuwa me so mabo ejenya me buami boami, 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 ah, she, mini walk wine, no curani and quano,